Hi, Bambi, Thumper, whoever you are. Nice to see you guys around. Well, okay. I got a little too close, I guess. Well, I just got Fritos here. Eh. Oh well. Glad you guys came and visited.
Nothing quite says fall around a bee yard like oxalic acid vapors going into the air and giving a haze over the bee park. Yes, it was that time of year, time to treat the hives yet again. We were on treatment number 3 out of 5 or more, depending on what we found. But it's not really what I wanted to talk about today. What I want to look at is how I've been doing the sugar water this fall. It's a little different than last year where I mix up big batches. The problem is the 1-to-1, which I use in early fall, it goes bad pretty fast. It ferments. So what I've been doing is filling the jars up about halfway with sugar, and then a few hours before it's time to go out to the bee park, that's when I put some water in and shake them up multiple times. This way it's only mixed up a few hours in advance of when it's going to be used. That's a little awkward from the standpoint of view that you fill the jars with sugar, you fill the jars with water, you cap them, you shake them, and then you have to come back about every 10 or 15 minutes or so and reshake them because it'll settle. But sooner or later it'll start to smooth out a bit. You can see here when you rotate the jars that, for a while you're going to run into sugar settling at the bottom. But, it's just a matter of having patience, and it's actually a lot easier than mixing up a big vat, which is what I did last year. Also, when the bees stop drawing the water, you don't have a lot of surplus that's sitting around. You can move on to making the sugar cakes, which is what I actually feed them during the winter. During the winter, you really don't want to be introducing too much water in the hives. I was a bit surprised at the uptick in mites this year compared to last year, but that's again why we are treating the hives. You want to basically try to get rid of them before you get into winter. That's a significant mite drop. More than we were seeing last year for sure. So this is 3 days after the oxalic acid treatment. And we're going to do a few more, that's for sure. As one might expect, the hive that went queenless for so long, not much of a mite drop at all, because there wasn't any capped brood for them to hide in. So back to the feeding cycle. I mentioned this in a previous video, but what I did is I put an empty deep super on top of each of the hives. And I put our candy board screen, it's a heavy support screen, inside the hive. And what this allows me to do is put more than one bottle, if necessary, into the hive. And also put other things in here. In this case, we have a little piece of wax paper with some pollen substitute on it. They have been drinking it down. You look at the top here, and they've clustered down towards the bottom because it was cold out. But they certainly have been coming up and finding the sugar water. And as long as they keep drinking it dry, I'm going to keep putting it in. Now, at some point, I'll start to put the bottles in there, and they won't draw them down, especially when it gets really, really cold. And that's the time where you stop the wet feed. You can see that this particular hive seems to have no problem finding the bottles and kind of have clustered around it. Hopefully, it'll cluster a little lower when winter comes. Till next week from Buzz Park.